Good morning, everyone. I hope you all are doing good. And this is episode 12 for Medical Billing Blueprint series. It's been 12 episodes. It's been a while. All right, so today we will be discussing about this is an interesting topic that I thought it would be just, thinking for a very long time, and I thought it would be nice to share that now because now it's kind of a time that you need to understand that being a biller is just not the kind of a thing that you will be sticking to yourself. You have to move on. You have to become a consultant. You have to become a problem resolver. You know, you have to move forward. Let's say start from billing. You are a biller. Now you're a specialist, and now you're a problem solver. And now you're a consultant. And soon you will be a trusted advisor for the healthcare industry. And then you will become a business owner or someone who can actually educating others to do the right job, right? So basically, if you're just learning medical billing to just process the claims, you're thinking too much, I would say small. Yep. I'm not saying, being a biller isn't a valuable thing. It's absolutely it is. But at the same time, if you're not building a serious career in this industry, you need to understand something, like a lot of things, because, when we started as a biller or, we started learning the billing, or we haven't, I personally haven't stick with billing for a very long time, because we trained a lot of people, we learned a lot about billing, and then, there's a time when you start to move to another department. You have to learn other things too at the same time, because provider don't just need the person who can submit the claims, they need someone who can understand why they are not getting paid. So that's how it goes. You know, um, like there are a lot of people that I can, include. Like, it's good if you're a biller. Obviously, you're taking care of the claim submission, payment posting, denial follow-up, patient balances, AR. You'll be taking care of payer communication, claim corrections. But that's wonderful. These are the important skills that you need to understand, but they are individual pieces of the bigger picture at the same time. You know, now you will be expanding your skills. You will be learning how to explain the, connects in between other departments like credentialing, your contracting, scheduling, authorization, documentation, coding stuff. Your, I would say, addictions and um, deductions and then payments and denials, you know, management of those AR reporting side of it. Then obviously the virtual assistant comes in, your goodwill on the market, the social media. You have to understand everything. If you just understanding only about the claims, you will never understand why exactly their claims are not getting paid, or if they're getting paid in a proper, appropriate manner or not. So you have to understand, claims get denied. Your basic approach to let's just fix this claim, right? But a consultant will be actually asking or thinking about why this happened in the first place. Maybe there was a problem in the eligibility checking. Maybe it could be authorization issues. Maybe their credentialing contracts are not, they're expired or something like that. They're not renewed. Maybe there's a wrong coding in it, documentation problems, because now most of the people that I spoke with, they are starting with a few practices, specialties, which are not so too much, I would say, like a complex, but once you're just going out of the field, you'll be learning about a lot of other specialties which are very complex, very regulated. And for those, you will see that the documentation is the key source to actually avoid the audits, to get yourself paid, to get the doctor paid for whatever the service they have rendered so far. So you have to make sure that's the difference, in learning these things. You have to become a problem solver, someone who can, let's just say, don't ask what task I should supposed to complete first. Start asking about the problems, am I solving it? Think about that. And let's just say if the provider says we're losing money, don't immediately say, we will go in, we will work on your AR stuff, and we'll take care of the money. But let's just think about it for a moment. Where exactly is the money being lost? What is your denial rate right now? What does the aging look like? Are the payments are matching to your contract rates, the fee schedules? Are the claims being, submitting every day correctly? And are there any credentialing gaps in it? Authorization issues? Maybe your documentation isn't catching up, or the coding problems out there. So you have to understand those. Those are the career ladders that you'll be going from level one. You'll be a biller. You know how to bill everything properly. Billing gets done, then you become a specialist who knows exactly like a particular area of that. You get good with it. You become a specialist for, let's just say, mental health specialty or any other, and then you become a problem solver. You can identify what exactly something isn't working out right now for the provider in the practice. So, and obviously, then you become a consultant where you will be providing, the provider calls you before making an important decision in their billing, or, if they would, let's just say, most of my providers call me and ask me, now I'm doing just fine. My billing is good with you. My credentialing is taken care of. My coding is in place. Now what? How I can expand my revenue? So they will just call you because you're their trusted advisor. They will call you before making kind of a significant decision for their practice. They will ask you, and you will actually build a system once you become on the level six. You will be like a business owner or someone they can rely on, like an attorney of them, right? In their revenue cycle, and you build a system, team, relationship, client around you with your expertise, and you say, hey, I know what exactly now we need to do. We need to build up your marketing. You need to get you a lot of patients. We need to add another provider in the practice, and under obviously you're under your tax ID, and we're gonna get you some more revenue down the road. That's how you will be enjoying your life, and you will be enjoying what you exactly do to treat the patient. At the same time, you can give yourself a holiday too, because trust me, nowadays, providers aren't getting any holidays because it's too much complexity in their business initially, which they don't know what exactly to do with. So you are the one who's gonna take care of them. Same industry, same healthcare system, completely different way of the value, I would say. And how you get there is you will actually, let me give you a roadmap, guys. So first, obviously, learn billing. Understand claim, payments, denials, AR, payer processes, and all that stuff, and then learn coding at the same time. I didn't mean not necessarily you need to become a certified coder from ABC or any HEMA. You don't need to become an, I would say, master in the coding, but at least you need to understand how the coding affects your reimbursement. Because obviously there's first it's coding, then billing, right? You have to understand that most of the people think that these department, all of the departments that I've seen in the revenue cycle company, or in our firm or another firm, wherever we used to work, every department has their own significance. Whether it's a business development department, whether it's a coding department, whether it's a PCMH, whether it's a CCM department, whether it's billing, credentialing, every department has their own significance. And then obviously learn credentialing side, understand how providers get enrolled with and contracted with these insurances, what exactly the fee schedule looks like. I know there might be 21 pages or more than that, or 60 pages that you might be need to read, but give it a try for the first time. See how it looks like. At least you need to have that, you know, few flashes of that, right? And then obviously learn the provider's workflow. Different providers have different workflow. Every provider is different. Individually practices, group practices, they have hospitals, they have different workflows. You have to understand their workflow before submitting their claim. And then obviously the other sides of it, financial analysis, you need to understand how to read the ER reports, denial reports, payment reports, collection reports, if there's any, you know, patient balances that you need to let the provider know. And then obviously the most important one is to learn the communication. That's huge. You need to explain complicated revenue cycle problems to the provider without drowning them in a billing, you know, uh, jargon. You have to understand that you won't be throwing some slangs on them. You have to understand what exactly you can, being on their level of understanding, you have to explain the revenue cycle problems to them. So that is something where you need to understand that they are not the experts in revenue cycle. So you have to use those languages which they understand. So you have to learn the communication of the healthcare providers, which is not impossible to learn. You can do that, and you will learn it, guys. And then I would say, the most important one that I've seen so far is learn, sales and consulting is a different thing. So if you know that you might be doing, you know, let's just say you're selling your services to the healthcare provider, they might not be beneficial for you down the road. But again, that will affect what you will be exactly learning is to how to identify your problems, like their problems, explain it clearly, show the provider how you can help. Just don't want to do the meetings and do not try to sell your scope of services, even though I've heard a lot of I'm actually consulting, helping most of the medical buildings out there right now to actually, increase their clientele, make sure their, operation is getting smoother, seamlessly. And what I've seen so far, when they go into the meeting with the providers, even though they're billers or credentialing specialists or whatsoever, they just try to sell their services, which is not going to be the scenario if you want to become a successful RCM consultant in this field. You have to understand that providers are not here to, just give you their business right away. You have to let them convince them. Exactly. You have to look because they are giving you their bread and butter. So you should supposed to convince them what exactly you'll be doing for them and what exactly you'll be doing in their, you know, I would say their revenue cycle. So you have to understand all of those things. And then based on my personal experience, if I could tell you, I work with, I would say more than hundreds of like providers so far. And the one thing that I've learned so far working with the providers, they don't want another person who can simply tell them like what they already know. They want someone who can actually look at the situation, scenario, understand what's happening, explain it clearly, and actually help them to move forward with this. So if I can tell you a little bit short story over here, I recently got into with someone who was actually a wound care provider struggling from the denied claims, and their previous biller just told them that this is because of the hospice issue. They were their mobile wound care for company, and they have providers who go into the hospice, help those people out there, patients who are having extreme issues with whether their wounds are not getting I would say getting back to the position where there needs to be, like not getting killed. And so they've done the services. It's been almost like 6, 7 months, but they haven't got paid a single penny for their wound care grafting services. It's because the mistake was in their progress notes. They are not able to justify Medicare that, that we can actually get the reimbursement. And Medicare is getting very, you know, high on the audits. Scrutiny is different now. Examination is top notch, I would say right now. So they examine everything to see what exactly you're getting paid, and if you can justify your, payments to your progress notes, then you will get paid. Otherwise, they won't. So they haven't got paid for a single claim which is regarding grafting and, you know, skin substitute services. And the reason was mistakes in the coding, which we have seen so far. And then obviously the progress notes are not justifying that this patient should supposed to get be treated for a wound care service, because according to their progress notes, this is something which is related to the hospice. And the Medicare won't pay you if this is regarding the hospice. So we should suppose our job is to actually justify that it's unrelated to the hospice care, and that's why we got in. We addendum the progress notes based on our experience, expertise. We actually guide that and educate the provider what exactly they need to do to actually avoid these kind of issues down the road. And that's how it works. So you have to make sure that you're not just a builder who can just submit the claims. You have to become someone else. You have to become someone more than a builder to actually understand the issues out there for the providers and help them out in accordingly. If you, and again, guys, if you like this kind of series, let me know if there's something topic that I've been missing around. Just let me know. We will create some good video on that as another episode to give you guys more clear picture about the industry. And the medical blueprint is the only reason for starting this kind of series is actually to give you guys a clarity on how this business actually works and how you can actually be in the field and do a right job, but and help others out there in the healthcare as well. So if you have any questions, concerns, let me know if I have missed out anything, because I do not create pitches or I do not make scripted content. So I may miss out a lot of things. So just let me know. If there's a lot of things which I can share with you guys regarding any topic, I'll be happy to do that. Till then, guys, work on yourself, become a consultant. That's what we're doing here. And help healthcare providers. They need your help. Make sure you're being loyal to your clients and you're taking care of your business and your partnership at the same time. Have a good one, guys. Talk soon.